Welcome back to the second part of the presentation about common sentence problems. I am Agnes Chikan, and let's keep going. Run-on sentences are never-ending sentences. As their name indicates, they just keep going on and on. Let's look at the example. There is a need to develop transportation in the continent, so a railway system is being built, and there are also plans to create a unified air transport market. Some writers have a problem identifying clause boundaries. They have very good English, but it's very hard for them to use commas or periods. Those people probably should read out loud their sentences, because when they pause, that's when they have to write commas. It is just a suggestion. So one way we can correct the example is to add commas before the conjunctions. And in this way, the sentence is correct. Another way we can correct the sentence is if we just divide it into two, because the sentence was a little too long. I decided to divide the sentence after the first clause, and I replaced so with therefore. Both of the versions are correct. Comma splices are very similar to run-on sentences, but they are different. They are again very, very long, but usually they have no or only a very few conjunctions, but they have lots of commas. Let's read the example. In a hydroelectric dam, the water is stored in an artificial lake. The water is released from the lake. It hits the turbine. The turbine generates electricity. The water runs to the downstream river. Even if this whole paragraph is written as one sentence, it still sounds choppy. Why? Because no conjunctions are used. So following the logic between the different ideas, we can add the necessary conjunctions. As there are a lot of clauses in this particular comma splice, we should probably divide the comma splice into separate sentences to make it more comprehensible. I would like to show my corrected version. In a hydroelectric dam, the water is stored in an artificial lake. As the water is released from the lake, it hits the turbine. The turbine generates electricity while the water returns to the downstream river. I added as and I added while. And because there is no comma before while, I had to get rid of it. So again, how can we avoid all of these mistakes? As I mentioned before, please read what you have written. Try to identify the subject and the verb in each sentence. Check whether the subordinate clauses belong to the independent clauses, and never let them stand alone, because then they are fragments. Check whether you would need a conjunction after a comma, and please avoid writing very, very long sentences, because nobody will understand you. Thank you very much for your attention.